I'm a firm believer that shadow work does not have to be painful. And in fact, once you deal with the societal conditioning that causes shadow work to be painful, it is actually fulfilling. It is actually juicy, yummy, fun. It is nice to sit with your shadow, embrace your shadow, be with your shadow. It can actually feel good. So there's two main reasons that shadow work can be painful starting off, but once you deal with these reasons, it can be good and juicy. We'll get to that. The two reasons, number one is talked about frequently, it is shame, right? It is the parts of ourselves that we are conditioned to repress because we are ashamed of them, because we are taught that they are unsavory, unworthy, that they are flaws, that they make us less than, that we should be ashamed of these parts of ourselves, right? These parts of ourselves, this part of our shadow, of our unknown parts of ourselves, when they come up and we experience the shame that we were conditioned to experience because of them, that is obviously very painful. And so a lot of the beginning parts of shadow work are going to be undoing shame, or should be undoing shame, should be telling yourself over and over, this is not abnormal. I am human. I am experiencing human emotions. It is okay to experience human emotions. In fact, it makes you divine. It makes you complex. It makes you you, right? It is okay to be experiencing these thoughts and feelings. It is a natural part of myself. And then the second reason that it is often painful is because we are also conditioned to prioritize positive experiences and light attributes of ourselves and the world around us. So we are taught to be attached to positive experiences, and we are taught that negative experiences are less than, are bad, are something to try to avoid, right? And in my experience, it's actually for longer than I've been doing shadow work. As somebody who is diagnosed with depression and anxiety, I made the connection that when I detach from having all positive experiences all the time, I literally create this space. I release the hopelessness, the desperation, the clinging to having a positive experience, right? Like when we are only trying to allow ourselves to have positive experiences, then anytime we have a negative experience, there's this war between ourselves because we are both. We are light and dark. We are complex. Okay. So there's this war within ourselves when we're trying to prioritize positive experiences, where a part of ourselves is like, no, go away. I don't want you. You're not valid. You're not right. You're not me. You are not a part of me. And the other part of you is going, yes, I am a part of you. And I want to be felt. I want to be expressed. I want to be heard. Right. And it causes this literal internal war within us that causes like this energetic, uh, confusion, contortion, and like separating and fighting. That's how it feels for me anyway. Whereas, so when we begin to undo shame, begin to tell ourselves it's normal, it's part of the human experience, it's part of being divine, it's part of being spiritual, because nothing in this reality is all light. It might be all love. We are not all light. The gods are not all light. The divine is not all light. Nature is not all light. The universe is not all light. Dark and light are natural parts of reality. So when we deny ourselves of this and shame the dark, it causes this pain and this struggle. So when we begin to undo the shame and begin to detach from positivity all the time, what happens is it begins to turn into a process of ebbs and flows, because what shadow work is, it is taking the unknown, what is in the dark, and making it known in the light, right? And the whole idea is that if you continuously, the dark is crying out and going, I want to be heard, I want to be understood, I want to be felt. And if you continuously push it down, push it down, push it down, and go, you are not worthy, this is bad, this is wrong, it's going to cry, it's going to like cry out for attention, essentially. It's going to leak in unconscious, toxic ways because it wants to be heard, felt, and expressed. So there's the first thing, that when we repress, it causes more chaos and issues. But when we embrace, when we love, when we sit with, when we allow ourselves to sit with and embrace negative emotions and negative thoughts and negative experiences. And not only does it literally, like, it can feel good if we're not attached to positive experiences. So it can feel good. It can feel cathartic. It can feel release. When you cry, you are literally releasing stress chemicals out of your eyes, and as above, so below. If we are physically releasing stress chemicals when we cry, what do you think is happening to our energy when we allow ourselves to experience and feel the negative emotions and feelings that are trying to come up? Because the other part here is that, and I've mentioned this more in the video about unconscious and subconscious, the unconscious or the subconscious is the mediator between the unconscious and the conscious mind. So when something starts to creep up from your subconscious, your shadow, that is your unconscious and your subconscious saying, hey, I would like to understand this. I would like to work this out. There's something that needs to be understood, felt, and expressed, right? So when we allow ourselves to actually sit with that, it can literally feel good if you let it feel good. If you're not attached to having a positive experience all the time and everything being perfect utopia and nothing bad ever happening and never experiencing yourself in negativity, right? It can literally feel good to sit with that. And not only does it feel good to sit with that and be in the presence of that, the result feels good, right? So the result is that you're going to end up learning more about yourself. You're going to end up finding out that a lot of things that you thought were inherently flawed about you are not a flaw. They're a strength. They're not a flaw. They're actually a strength, or can be transmuted and harnessed as a strength if you shift your perspective and if you actually allow yourself to sit with and acknowledge. You can take something that seems like a really unsettling flaw about yourself and understand how that can actually be utilized to your advantage when you but like, you can read as many self-help books as you want, and trust me, I know, I've tried. Nothing will be embodied the way it will be embodied if you allow yourself to sit with your discomfort and confusion and shame and everything else. Nothing will be fully embodied into your vessel unless you allow yourself to sit with the discomfort. Okay. So, like, for example, I'm going to give an example of something that happened to me recently that I think could be very common. And that is that I have thought that my curiosity was a flaw. I have thought that the way that I have my mind is like, I have an investigative spirit. And not only that, but like, once I am into something or have found something that I enjoy, that I want to work on, that I want to learn about, etc., my brain will literally obsessively analyze it from all different angles. And this will give me energy. It will literally create, like, I'm pretty sure it probably induces dopamine in me, ADHD, but it literally creates energy within me. And so the way that I've been processing it, and my perspective has been at a subconscious level, has been that this part of myself is too much. It is too intense. It is like, why am I so obsessive? Why can't I, like, stop thinking about, like, when I pick up a good book, like, why can't I stop thinking about it when I put it down? Why am I analyzing the entire story? When I'm learning about a subject, how come I can't stop thinking about it? When I meet a new person, how come I'm like psychoanalyzing everything about them, right? Like, why does my brain do that? And then why does it make my energy so high and intense? And it makes my energy high and intense because when we do the things we're good at naturally, that we love to do, that light us up, it literally fills us with energy. It sustains us, it nurtures us. So that's why it makes my energy high and intense. Now, because of the fact that I was viewing it as a negative attribute, as a flaw, what was happening is the inner struggle between the conscious and the subconscious, my shadow aspect of me, they were fighting about it, right? Like, the conscious part of me was like, this is a bad thing, da, 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 da. And my shadow was like, it's not a bad thing. Why won't you just embrace it? Jesus, just embrace it. And because of that fighting, and because of the unconscious acting out and the subconscious acting out, it was causing these parts of myself to express in ways that were like anxious and insecure Instead of what I realized, which is that when I shift my perspective to all the ways that I could actually embrace and utilize this part of myself, I realized that not only can I utilize this part of myself to my benefit, like I can utilize this part of myself for my goals, but the bigger and more important part for me is that the high energy that it gives me, I can harness that energy and I can use it for other things too. So I can literally take that high energy and use it for other goals, for creative outlet, for working out, for activities, for like all different things. I can harness that energy and use it for different things. And I realized that when I allow myself to see this part of myself as a positive attribute, I allow myself to sit with my discomfort, allow myself to sit with the confusion about this particular part of myself. Then, and I literally let it flow through me like a wave. Then what comes out on the other side is not only was the experience itself way less distressing, because I'm not sitting there going, well, why do I do this? Why? And I think this is something that a lot of people who do shadow work, they might accidentally do, because I think it's really common to be confused and to literally do the opposite of what the goal is, and to be, because I've been there, to be doing shadow work and going like, oh, I'm doing this so I can figure out what's wrong with me, so I can figure out what's wrong with me. And the whole purpose of it is to find the things you think are wrong with you and to find out how they're not wrong with you, how they can be utilized and harnessed in ways that literally honor your true complex nature of light and dark. And this is, again, I always want to stress this because there have been people who became shadow work, self-proclaimed shadow work fanatics and gurus, and then they ended up hurting people because they were like, oh, it's integrating my shadow. Like, no, it's never to hurt people. Part of this is exactly what I'm saying, is detaching from needing positive experience. And when you detach from needing positive experience, and you detach from shame, and you detach from your desires and your whims, it allows you to see them from, what I want to say right now is it like removes, it separates man and beast in a way. I want to say that for some reason. It's like if detaching the repressed shadow from your intellect is what will literally make it so that you don't wish to express your shadow in ways that harm yourself or others. It will make it so that you want to find positive, healthy outlets for your shadow. But on the flip side, when we continue to repress, that's what actually causes the toxic unconscious leakage. That's what causes bad behavior and justification, making excuses, all this other stuff. When we sit with and allow and embrace and love the shadow parts of ourselves, not only do we have a more, it actually makes your entire experience feel better. We have more flow, more balance. We learn deeply about ourselves, and we come out the other side with like more space.